If you're in the market for a featherweight, full suspension downcountry bike, Canyon's latest Lux Trail CFR LTD is an exciting prospect for speed-focused riders. Marking a departure from the previous Lux Trail, this model's bespoke frame only shares its rough outline with its purebred race-winning sibling, the Lux World Cup. Can it match up to the best downcountry bikes on the market? I've spent the last 2 months riding it to find out. Let's get straight into it. Bikes like this Lux Trail should be very capable climbers. Weighing just 12.31 kilograms without pedals, including all its onboard trailside repair accessories, the Canyon doesn't look to buck that trend. However, if you're looking to shave even more grams, removing them drops the bike to just 11.72 kilograms. Now that's impressive. Unsurprisingly then, the Lux Trail is scarily fast and efficient when working against gravity. Each pedal stroke is rewardingly transferred through the frame into the back wheel, driving forward motion. The harder you pedal, the faster it goes. This is addictive, but also incredibly punishing. It's almost impossible to ride the Lux Trail at a sedate pace. Despite having the best intentions at the start of the ride, its go-get-'em attitude dominates, squeezing every watt of power from your legs. The 120mm travel SID Ultimate Fork and SID Lux rear shocks, pedal and lock modes add to this. These simultaneously stiffen up both dampers by a bar-mounted twist remote, turning the Lux Trail from impressively grippy to an outright rigid pedal machine. Although the lock mode is best left to smooth tarmac or intense sprints, the mid-level settings usefulness extends its capabilities. On smoother, undulating, high-intensity trails, the dampers still take the sting out of bumps, while keeping unwanted suspension movement to an absolute minimum. When fully opened, there's a surprising abundance of grip thanks to the fork and shock's fluttery, responsive nature. Hammering over square-edge matted roots or worn trail centre surfaces truly highlights this. The rear suspension's 150mm of travel is smooth and forgiving. Bumps are more than dulled, they're almost totally smoothed out. Pedal smoothly and there's little in the way of bob, but really hammer through the cranks causes it to dip in and out of its sag point. There's still no slouch in the open mode, and the extra comfort and traction is well worth the marginal efficiency loss. And that traction is key to avoiding rear tyre slip and spin. The Maxxis Recon Race's fingerprint deep tread pattern, even with the suspension's help, struggles on softer ground. Power needs feeding delicately through the rear tyre. Fortunately, the bike's geometry helps in this regard. The stout 435mm chainstays and steep 76-degree C-tube angle keep the rear wheel close to your backside, helping focus traction and improve pedalling efficiency. Thanks for roomy 633mm top tube on my test bike, there's plenty of space to move around between the bars and saddle when seated. It's easy to adopt an aggressive race-like position while still being able to shift your weight to balance traction. Being picky, and I am, when angled up the steepest inclines, a longer chainstay and grippier rear tyre would help reduce slip and keep the front wheel planted. Moving on to the exciting bit, which is the downs, and while the Lux Trail's descending capability is impressive, you'll need to bring your A game to tap into it. Within the context of its downcountry rivals, the geometry is long, slack and low. The 67-degree head tube angle is matched with a lengthy 480mm reach and a 1,206mm wheelbase. Many won't argue with the fact these figures wouldn't look out of place on a trail bike from 5 to 7 years ago. This certainly lifts the performance glass ceiling compared to the outgoing crop of traditional XC bikes and their conservative geometry. From the very start of swinging a leg over, the trail shredding intentions of the Lux are clear. It eggs you on to ride terrain more suited to bigger, burlier bikes. Off-piste single tracks can be ridden with elbows out, heels down to toes-up aggression. Definitely lives up to the trail in its name. The suspension performance reinforces its super capable, trail-loving persona. As on the uphills, it creates a smooth, controlled ride, delivering more grip than you'd expect. It isn't just smooth off the top though. Progressivity ramps up when you head deeper into the fork and shock stroke. This maintains its dynamic geometry in high-load berms and gives plenty of pop on the lips of takeoffs. Push even further, and impressively, the rear shock's bump stop isn't frequently felt. Full travel has a soft touchdown, rather than a bone-crunching clang. With such energetic feeling suspension, stable yet agile geometry, and capable componentry, it's possible to weave lines down chunky terrain with razor-sharp precision. The SID's 35mm tubes steer accurately and precisely, bolstering that confidence-inspiring feel. SRAM's XX transmission is totally silent, remaining hushed when you rattle through chunder, helped by the stay's generous rubberized chain slap protection. This capable overall feel does expose some limits though. The Maxxis Recon and Recon Race tyres, while great for nipping along hard double track or surface trail centres, lack grip when ground conditions deteriorate. Now, I'm not suggesting those who buy this bike will be hankering for downhill spec Maxxis assegais, but I reckon many would benefit from the marginally chunkier tread and more reassuring grip of an Arden or Forecaster, without taking a huge hit in rolling speed or weight. Although the geometry is impressive, it's not perfect. The short rear end skews your weight bias, placing more mass over the back wheel rather than the front. There's a lot of bike in front of the bottom bracket, and little behind it. When you're riding lazily, the front wheel is easy to underweight, and this can reduce grip. G yourself up and maintain an aggressive over the front stance, and the issue vaporizes, returning control. The Lux Trail is perhaps better suited to sharper, more accomplished riders, and may even punish the less experienced who venture beyond their depth. But regardless of your ability, if Fyro bombing, bridleway bashing, and double track missions are your thing, there's plenty of predictable performance in the tank, and you're unlikely to be disappointed. The SRAM and RockShox kit list of the CFR LTD certainly creates a cohesive feel, and while there's very little to complain about on paper, the details aren't quite perfect. My biggest frustration is with Canyon's all-in-one bar and stem. While this certainly looks cutting edge, its fixed geometry might not please everyone. Key figures include a 760-degree width, a 50mm effective stem, 15mm of handlebar rise, 8 degrees of back sweep, and 6 degrees of upsweep, with bars that can't be rolled in the stem's imaginary clamp, and standard headset spacers can't be used to adjust the stem's height. Personally, I struggled with their shape, and while they're not overly stiff or harsh, the sweep and rise certainly impacted comfort, giving me sore wrists after only an hour in the saddle. On balance, and being fair, other riders might not have the same issue. So if possible, it's worth comparing their geometry to your favourite components to get an idea of how they'll feel. The other thing, the bar's profile, which isn't round, makes mounting traditional band clamp style accessories such as lights or computers actually impossible. This is a shame given the Lux Trail's all day and night riding credentials. I did ask Canyon if it's working on an accessory mount adapter for the all-in-one cockpit. The brand said the bike is designed for all-out performance, with weight being a major concern. If riders are looking for a bike that's compatible with this type of accessory, they should consider the cheaper CF versions and their two-piece standard cockpits. Alternatively, and this might be good for some people, riders could purchase the CFR version and downgrade the bar and stem to one with a circular shape. The SID Ultimate Fork and SID Lux Ultimate Rear Shock are connected to a 3-position grip shift style remote. This lets riders choose between open, pedal and lock modes, each setting progressively firming up suspension damping. SRAM's excellent 12-speed XS Eagle Access transmission is matched with 175mm long XX SL cranks, featuring an inbuilt power meter in the 34-tooth chainring. Rounding out the Access components is a 150mm travel reverb dropper, which has an Ergon SM10 Pro saddle bolted to it. SRAM level ultimate stealth brakes with a 4-piston front caliper and a 2-piston rear grab 180mm and 160mm rotors, respectively. DT Swiss's XRC 1200 carbon wheels are clad in Maxxis rubber. For the £8,099, $8,599 or €8,099.99 asking price, the Lux Trail CFR Ltd actually represents pretty good value for money. True to its name then, the Lux Trail is as suited to trail riding as it is to XC bombing. With capabilities that outstrip headline figures, its geometry and sorted suspension combine to create a versatile and fun to ride bike. Surprise, surprise, it's not perfect, however. A longer rear end would boost stability when the riding gets spicy, as would chunkier rubber. But the Lux Trail CFR Ltd is pretty much ready to tackle almost any terrain it encounters. But what do you think of it? Is it the versatile downcountry machine you're dreaming of? Or would you prefer to go full cross-country? Or even travel up to a true trail bike? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see more of our unbiased reviews, remember, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future uploads. Finally, if this hasn't quite scratched your cross-country itch, then check out this video where Rob and Tom pitch 2 big-name XC bikes head-to-head. Spoiler alert, it's a banger!